Welcome, let's continue. So in the previous video we built this thing and we have to build the lights, and BSP Brushes have their own system for lights, which is kinda not intuitive at all. So yeah, let's build lights quickly. So what we have here in this level, I won't mess around with lights, maybe, but actually since this is symmetrical from all sides, it doesn't really matter from which side we get the light, but we have a stationary sunlight, we have a static skylight that is set to capture the atmosphere, and we have atmospheric fog, yes, and we have a reflection capture. So let's build the lights. I will set my own production and quickly explain you why I did that and why you shouldn't do that. You should do in preview probably. And also bring the world settings so you can mess around with settings for Lightmass. So Lightmass is the way to build global illumination for the level, and that is why we are getting preview and we need to build lights. Now I'm using something called GPU Lightmass, so I'm building my lights on a GPU, and this is a preview software, but it's so freaking awesome that I don't want to go back on building lights on CPU since I found out about that. I will have the link in the description for a forum post where you can get that. It's kind of early access software, but it works really nice. So the only thing for me that's going to work is messing around with indirect bounces, but you can also mess around with other stuff. Note that increasing the light quality or static level scale, it's going to increase your build times. So if you're following along with me, go into light quality and just preview. I will keep my own production because it doesn't really matter what I set with GPU Lightmass. And I will get maybe for now just 10 bounces should be enough, and let's build. So this is going to take way less time than it's going to take for you if you do this what I did on production and increase the number of bounces. And I will go into how to set up lights in some other video. For now, just build it on preview, or maybe even just follow along with me. Not follow along, but just watch what I do so I can explain the stuff, then mess around on your own later on. So we build the lights and we get the shadows, but look at how freaking ugly they are. So there are a few ways to fix this. So one of them is to actually have a dynamic shadows. So let me show you that. So if you build on preview, you can follow along with this and get some nice shadows. If you select your your light source, so this is a directional light, so you bring it from here, directional light, and this one is set on stationary. On static this won't work, and you scroll down, you will find dynamic shadow distance for stationary light, and you bring that up. You can see, I don't know how it's going to seem in the video, but there's kind of so you set the distance where that kicks in. As you can see, the shadows, this is with off, this is with on. And let's bring ourselves really close to the shadow and start bringing this up just a tiny bit. You can see it looks really nice, but when I look at it from the distance, it's not going to look as nice. So if we have this super low, like on 200, you can see the shadow warping as I go forward, because it's a screen space effect, so it happens from your point of view. So we can go 2000 probably for this level will work. You can also mess around with not that one, but actually number of cascades. This can sometimes make things better, sometimes what's 2000, sometimes worse. You can go over 4, you can go to 10, I think is maximum. So 100, it's going to bring me to 10. So that looks way better, but still looks like crap, to be honest. we can do better. So here's what's kind of wrong with this. Our resolution for light maps is way too low, so I wasn't kind of planning on going too crazy with lights in this one, but this is really important. This also works for static meshes. So if you go into lit optimization views and lightmap density, we are going to go into here. So this shows you how the quality of your light maps. So the blue is kind of standard for games, kind of. You want to go maybe into teal color. So the more you increase it, it's going to go more towards red. And for architectural visualization, you can go in red because you will get really, really nice results. But it's not meant for really big levels and for games. If you can run it on really good hardware and you know that you're going to be showing it off, showing your game or architectural visualization or something on really good hardware, then you can go crazy with light map resolutions. But if you're building a game, you probably don't want to go too crazy. Now looking at this, we have some really ugly... Probably want to project here to get better, since we're kind of here. We might get better results if we project here, do projection for this thing. Not sure if it's going to help, but you can, if you mess up your brush, you can project it to get better results. Let me quickly show you how you do that. I wasn't planning to do this in this was supposed to be an advanced tutorial in the next video, but if you go and let's say we mess up our brush, scale it. As you can see, actually this material, oh yeah, let's delete this. And this material is in world space as it looks, so let me select nothing. Go to content and bring the regular brush with the regular old material. If I scale this up, we're going to stretch this material, or really stretch it. And if we want to fix that, we go and click the face. You can also select all the faces with Shift B, and then align surface planar. And we fixed it. And that is something that you can see it's kind of weird a bit here. Maybe if we go and select this brush and try align planar, we might get better results. Maybe. Let's look at that light map view, optimizations view for light map density. Oh, I think we messed it up a bit. It sometimes does this. I will just fix this one and leave the other ones as they are, just so we can see. Also, if you're kind of building this, and I should have done this from the get-go, you should bring a reference of how big the things should be. So I didn't do that, but you should definitely do that. So find the skeletal meshes, and bring this guy here. So you can see this is the normal normal human, how big he should be. I think he's around 2 meters, and this is how this thing, how big it is. It's kind of okay if it's some kind of temple, and how big it is. But I also bring him here so I know that we are looking at this arc here. So we know that we modified that one. Let's do some messing around with light maps. So and this kind of didn't work for me at all. Lightmap density. If I rebuild it, it's probably going to work. It's probably going to fix itself up. Usually works that way for light maps. And now kind of my videos sound a bit rambly, but if I want to bring as much information as I could into video, I always get ideas midway. So you have to bear with me. Okay, this thing I think messed it up even more. That didn't help at all. And it messed itself up again. So what we're going to do for this one, press Shift B to select the whole thing, and We could also actually, let's select everything, doesn't matter. So Control A to select everything, then Shift B to select all surfaces, and hope for the best that my engine doesn't crash. So Lightmap resolution, the higher you go, the less quality you will get. The lower you go, the more quality you will get. And with static meshes, it's different way. The higher the number, the better lights you will get. The lower number, the lights will look worse. So for this, I'm going to go, let's go, I don't know, 8. That's not too crazy, but still crazy. And let's unselect everything, and we'll probably, if we go into that viewport, we'll see nothing. Lightmap density, yep, we need to build our lights. Now this is going to take a bit more time than the last time. So more you're increasing it, the more time you will need to build it. And it's really not a good idea to go crazy with this when you're prototyping the level. It's not a point to look pretty, it's point to be functional. So what I'm doing here is not really recommended, but I if you're doing something and you need small, simple brush to fill in some part of the level and you don't want to annoy your mate who is doing 3D modeling for you, you can throw in some BSP brush and increase its lightmap resolution to get better results. And I also want to turn off my dynamic lights for this. Actually, we turned it off. Okay. But you can see now, look at this shadow, is kind of sexy. It's way better than the last time. I can also see his shadow, but his should be dynamic, I think. He's set, well, he's a skeletal mesh, so we could even mess with him and say to him to use animation asset and set him in idle pose. Okay, so this looks really nice, doesn't it? But let's look at that other optimization viewport and lightmap density. Now it's kind of in a teal, so this is still okay, but you can go even crazier than this if you wanted to. But let's mess around. I want to mess around with lights. I love the lights in Unreal, so let's mess around with it even more. So let's get out of this viewport and let's actually bring something from some static meshes. So let's turn on filters and static mesh. Let's bring something pretty in here, like this statue, for instance. And you know what? I want to rotate it towards there and press End to go down. I think there was something to put it on, like this. I think it's kind of way too big, to be honest, for this. Isn't there something else, I think? Not really. But we can scale it uniformly on maybe like this. And then bring this on it. Awesome. And maybe, I think it's in the middle, to be honest. And I think we also have these things. Maybe we can populate them here. And we have this fire effect. I think we should bring them together. Yes, that's the way. So maybe we make it pretty. I thought I was going to crash, but I didn't. That's the good time to save your map. If you think you're going to crash, save your map. Okay. So we have some kind of temple going on here. Now, one thing that you should probably do with this is also drop some lights on it. So point light here. And let's make it flash with this. Nice. And let's make it glow reddish, orangish actually, and drop it a bit down, I guess. Maybe. Yeah, I think that's okay. I'm not going to obsess too much about it. I should have probably brought the lights with these things, but we are going to do that really quickly. Let's bring it. It's probably going to mess with me since my radius for them is pretty high, but we're going to fix that in a second. You cannot have too many point lights with overlapping each other. The number is 4 that you can have, and they have really big radius at the moment, so that's why we are getting this X on them. Okay. It's kind of going a bit off topic of BSP brushes, but you would probably, the next thing that you would do is populate your level with some static meshes. So let's try point lights, grab all of them, and then we wanna turn attenuation radius down to 500, let's say. They're still overlapping each other, but not by that much. Awesome. We also want would probably be better off putting few more reflection captures, but I'm going to use just this one for now. Make it flash with this statue, maybe. Oh. Sphere reflection capture, maybe bring it up a bit. Let's say that works. Probably not the best, but still. And I'm going to go a bit crazy here, go 50. And even going to go even crazier. Don't do this, guys. This is totally crazy. And I also wanted to show you one thing here. If you have static meshes, so if I go SM for static meshes, this is all static meshes, and go into details, type light. Why isn't it showing up? Oh, I typed it in the wrong way. Here. Light, override light map resolution. So for this, if I go up, it's going to give me more resolution. Go down, less. So maybe I want to go crazy. So we'll put it on 256. And maybe for this, also go a bit crazy. I guess that is also going to be 256. And I can also go and select all of them. Override light map resolution, 256, go crazy. Don't do this, guys, for your levels. This is more of if you're doing ArcViz, but since I'm using GPU Lightmass and I want to show off a bit, I'm going to go crazy. So I'm going to select all brushes, and select all of them, and go Shift B. Type the brush there. Okay, select all brushes, and it's messing with me. The important one is to set this one lower, since I'm going to go really crazy. If it tries 0, it's going to put it at 0.1. But let's go right click, select all brushes, and set light map resolution to 0. It's going to be 0.1, but that's pretty crazy. At least I think it's crazy. And let's save them up before we build. Don't do this. This is stupid, but it's going to look pretty. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. And because I have GPU Lightmass, which you should definitely try Even though it's a beta software, it's insane how good it is. So I will see you when this finishes. Okay, so I forgot something before I hit that build button. That is to put Lightmass importance volume. So if you type here Lightmass importance volume, we have to have that. And I already built the lights, but since I forgot, and that's really important, I want to bring it in and press G. There's also one more thing that we could do, but let's first put this one. Since we built our map, it's pretty much in the center, so let's bring this up somewhere around there. And let's scale it up. So this tells Unreal where your geometry is, so it knows where to build the lights. To focus, basically. It's going to build the lights anyways, but it's going to focus on building the lights here. You can also see the GI. We go show visualize volumetric light maps. So this is what happens without the light mass importance volume. It kind of builds it way off there, but it kind of with this new volumetric stuff does way better job than it used to. It's pretty much focused where it should be, but still, it's a good idea to add light mass importance volume. The other thing that you could add also before we hit the build is light mass portals. So this also tells Unreal, you know what? When you build the lights and you're building them here, focus on that area, bring more lights through here. So would probably want to have these guys here on each of these things to get the maximum lights from outside. So yeah, this is kinda was supposed to be just about BSP brushes, but this is really basic stuff that you should know about. My intention was for this series to be just about BSP brushes, but kind of went off track a bit. But I think it's a good thing. So you just go around dropping this stuff in and I'm going to rotate again by 90 degrees and go there, and one more time, and one more time. So we have it on every window, and I also want to have something shining on this statue, so I'm going to grab one of these guys. I should probably Shift G to group them and drag in. And you know what? Let's make a modification here a bit with this. Let's bring it into the geometry. So maybe it's like this, or maybe even something more fun. Let's bring this outwards. Let's scale it down on all axes. Come on. And let's put this ball on it. So let's bring it down. Not sure if this is going to work. Didn't try it before. Flash with this geometry here. So it's inside. It's kind of inside. Oh yeah, it works. And I'm going to Control G this. Bring one more. Probably want to do something more interesting in your level. So guys, if you build something after you finished following this series, you should definitely send me a photo. This is going to go a bit crazy with me. think I have them right, but I also want to Ctrl-Shift-G, turn off groups, and get these lights, put them on 250 maybe, so they stop complaining. Right, I'm going to select all my lights to make them 250 radius, so it's kind of smaller. We could also bring them all a bit up, tiny bit up, not that much. So maybe 300 if we can. We can. I really kind of wanted to hit. No, we cannot. So 250. Oh, it still doesn't work. I guess we have 4 lights. Oh, it doesn't matter. We can go 500, but these lights here are in the middle, are making a mess. So those should be just the last 4 lights. So are those the lights that I want? Yes, they are. So let's put those on 300. And we cannot have 4 lights here like this, so I will still make them 500 so they hit the ceiling, but we have to have them on stationary since they're overlapping. You know what? Let's put all lights on stationary and don't worry about it. Okay, nice. So we have this, and we have Lightmass importance value and Lightmass portals. And I will hit the build and see when that finishes. So the light build is complete, and you shouldn't really be doing this kind of light build with BSP brushes, but I kind of wanted to go crazy a bit, so definitely do not put this amount of density into your meshes. It's kind of weird. Why is this kind of more dense than this stuff inside? Who knows? Either way, we have really nice density. So we'll click on this Lightmap settings. It's on 8 actually. I don't know. I think I've increased for some of them, but not all of them. But still, it's pretty insane in terms of how good the quality is. For this, it's on 0.1, but why is this kind of different color? Either way, let's go into lights only, and I will press G actually, just to see how this is doing. So you will get much better results with static mesh geometry. This still looks pretty nice, like the shadows are really good. And we have some soft lights, though this kind of could be better, but it would be overkill if we increase it further. So it looks pretty good. We even get some bounces here. And you would probably, to continue with this, do not build the lights on this level. Probably best to keep them in their default, so they probably should have done that, but map density, I know that wouldn't work, but you should keep them at 32 or 16. I was just showing off, so, and this kind of doesn't look that too well because it's a subtractive brush and we put the material there, so it's kind of not 100%. So this video turned out to be way longer than I wanted to be. In the next one, I'm going to show you even more advanced stuff, and really hope that you will be able to build something on your own and build something really awesome. So guys, I'll see you in the next one.